Good day, everyone. To custom students debate on legalization of medical marijuana in the Philippines. We have two students agrees and two against in legalizing the medical marijuana. So let's hear them out.
Good day everyone, I am Kane Montecalvo from CJ1B2 and I'm here to explain and I agree of the legalization of marijuana in the Philippines because it can help boost our economy, and legalizing marijuana results in decreased teen marijuana use and also traffic deaths and arrest of DUIs that do not increase and may decrease because of marijuana when it is legalized. Study shows that medical marijuana dispensaries decreased crime in their neighborhoods because of an increased security presence and more people walking around the area. Research indicates that people drink less and alcohol sales drop in places when marijuana is legalized. And the amount of crime violence caused by alcohol use in 10 times higher than marijuana used, and alcohol is a factor in around 40% of violent crimes. A shift from drinking to using marijuana will decrease crime associated with alcohol, such as domestic violence and assault. And marijuana is safer than some other medications prescribed to treat pain. And the marijuana is less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. And marijuana has been regarded as a harmful plant that can endanger lives and is thought to be nothing more than an extra problem to be dealt with in today's society. Marijuana can help treat symptoms of chronic disease as well as other things such as glaucoma. It can also prevent Alzheimer's disease, and it reduces the use of prescription drugs. Studies have shown that medical marijuana has fewer side effects in comparison to painkillers, and patients who use marijuana for medical purposes felt better overall due to making medical cannabis or marijuana a good solution and maintains a low risk factor and higher benefits. It can use to be better in education, and it can help improve our healthcare, develop the justice system, and help the poor to pay off country's debt, and fortify unfunded government programs. And remember that besides sales tax, several other revenues can also be generated when marijuana is legalized. And it has shown that medical marijuana has fewer side effects in comparison to painkillers, and patients who use marijuana for medical purposes felt better overall. And with medical marijuana, overdose is almost non-existent, making it a safe alternative to prescription drugs to those who are in needs. Marijuana is very helpful to us because it can cure many illnesses, just like the some, and it can help us in painkillers, and I think it is one of the most important or one of the helping factors to us to cure our sickness or illnesses. And just like for example, like the country of Jamaica, they legalized the marijuana there, and I think, or I've researched that they have low risk of some illnesses because some ingredients of their medical uses, and they use it as a medical or in good way, and that's why they have low risk of some patients there, because that's why the people there are very peaceful and they have some great chemistry or understanding in each other, because marijuana helps people to be peaceful, that that will clear their mind from something that bothers them. And I think we should try here in the Philippines to legalize marijuana so that we can know what was the good of it from using it in a good way, just like for example by using it in the medicine or a drug. I So that we can know what is marijuana to be helpful in using it in good way, just like for example in in using it in a drug. I think we should try it so that we can know what would be the consequences of it. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Stephen Branston from CJ1B2, and this is my um, speech about against of legalizing marijuana here in Philippines, because um, marijuana is addicting, can be lead to usage of other drugs, and has negative impact on society. According to the National Institute on Drugs Abuse, people who smoke marijuana is 104 times to use cocaine and um, and other addictive drugs. That people who don't smoke marijuana, this is potentially very dangerous because this because these other drugs can have adverse reaction that are many times worse than marijuana. Cocaine, um, cocaine like marijuana is a stimulant, but unlike unlike marijuana is many times stronger. Um, um, Explain that marijuana is very stronger than cocaine because if we if we don't have a idea about this marijuana, about these drugs, um, there's a big impact about our mental health. And if legalized marijuana could cause societal problems, yes, it could cause societal problems and in many area. First of all, in its access to legal marijuana would mean that more if would get into hands of kids and teens. Yes, it this should be could not could not get into hands of our kids and teens because this could um, it cause big problem into our teens because should it cause um, it cause if we if we take if he take these drugs, there's a possible to um, to to think a idea to create crime. And um, police officers would be aware of um, police officers will be aware of this um, problem because if marijuana would legalize here in Philippines, there's such a more crime. And if legalize here in our country, it cause more problems about mental health issues mental health issues, and peacefully mind. If and in this in this in this type of drugs, um more more drug more drug users will be active, and many people who tried these drugs because there's not should high idea about these drugs, and more teens would be a big problem about these drugs because he or she could not a better idea about these drugs. um, mm, in conclusion, marijuana should not be legalized because it increase crime rates. Yes, it because increase crime rates on like war on drugs, um, war on drugs, yes, and crime in other state, and cause yes, it cause mental health problem and peacefully mind, like what I said early. It affects our mind. It affects our mind to it affects our mind to not um, think a creative idea, and this is not a good um, drugs in teens and young adults.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we're speaking about legalizing the use of marijuana. So for that one, I'm agree of using that because marijuana is a herb, and there's so many people that they care themselves for using this marijuana and cure people with disability and mental problem or psychological problem, depressed person or what else like that. So based on my research, marijuana can reduce anxiety, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain. It can also control nausea and vomiting caused by cancer chemotherapy, cancer cells, uh, and slow tumor growth. So, low tumor growth, relaxed tight muscles, and people with multiple sclerosis. So, people there's so many benefits no na marijuana can cure. That is that is proven by ano laboratory researchers. So do you know in Jamaica is the sixth place peaceful country because of this herb. So sounds great, right? So that is ano so for our country, I don't know why marijuana is not allowed in this country. So there's so many abusive people, and there's so many negative thoughts about using the marijuana.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Medical marijuana has been said to be effective to the certain individual who has chronic and debilitating disease such as cancer, glaucoma, and AIDS. However, we cannot close our eyes to the scientific research conducted by a medical journal, especially the World Health Organization, against the use of medical marijuana because it is not necessarily legislation because essentially it is not a cure itself. Simplifying the study from various journals such as Oxford Reviews and Harvard Health publication, the purported legal benefit of a medical marijuana is that it is a painkiller, an appetite booster, and it relieves nausea, and many more. I'm not claiming to be a medical proficient because I am just a simple custom student. But based on the scientific data available in the public, we have various drugs in the market that are illegal, safe, and affordable, which do not carry the dangerous effect of marijuana, physically, mentally, as well as its social impact. Let us be reminded of the constitutional mandate of the health provided in Section 15, Article 2 of the Constitution, which provide that the state should protect and promote the right to help the people and give them consciousness. Legalizing a drug which we are not so sure about is a clear violation of such constitution mandate because it goes against the policy of the state to protect the people from a substance we are not so sure about.